I am on the trail to Schicklers. Just the main thing when you go to Schicklers, follow the trail, see the footpaths, and then also pay attention to the orange tape. There's a tree farther down. It's hard to see in the video, but there's orange tape on the tree that kind of marks the trail. So that's what you want to follow basically to the occurrence. Here is the main digging area. There's the crevice where the big fluorite and calcite seam is. And there's all the stuff on the side. Honestly, I would recommend digging outside of the trench, because in the trench it's basically picked over and all you'll find is stuff that's in calcite, which is a pain to try and chip out. So it's a lot easier to just dig. As you can see, a lot of people have dug and probably had a lot of success. I remember when I first came here, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I think I was probably digging somewhere here. I was still on the edge of the trench, and this whole area hadn't been dug up at all. But obviously a lot can change in 5 years, because that is has all been dug up. So what are the kinds of things that you can expect to find here at the Schickler's Occurrence? Well, you of course got your fluorite, which is the big thing. You got dark purple fluorite. I'll try and show you guys the actual trench and the big blob of calcite and fluorite in there. But you've also got red apatite. I believe you can find scapolite here. You can find pyroxene. People argue whether it's probably most likely diopside, but you've got a whole bunch of stuff. You got speak of the devil. It's just a busted fractured chunk, but this is a chunk of pyroxene. And then you've got other stuff like your apatites, your red apatites. I believe there's scapolite here too. But that's basically what you're going to find here. You're going to find apatite, and you're going to find fluorite in calcite, hopefully. You can usually find bits and pieces, like I'm seeing it all over the place. It's this dark purple material. This is the fluorite I'm talking about. But the stuff that people really want is the fluorite that's in veins in the calcite. And there's a kind of a big blob down in there where that occurs, but there's other spots where you can find stuff, and I found a couple chunks where it's fluorite and calcite before, but that's like the big thing that people want. This is the it's not actually a trench, it's more like a crevice, but this is the blob of fluorite and calcite that I'm talking about. It's not crystallized fluorite, it's just kind of like globular and super. It's just not it's not crystal form, but it's just in veins. But you can see down in there, that's the stuff people are after. So if you look far enough, you can just find it kind of on the surface. This one's kind of cool because the calcite's a bit eroded. Super dark piece of fluorite. Kind of blobby. Believe this is scapolite. But I'm gonna find a spot to dig, and hopefully I find a couple nice things, and I'll show you guys if I do. Thought I'd show you guys this plate of amphibole. My hand size. Well, amphibole. No, not amphibole, sorry. Pyroxene fluorite and scapolite. These crystals are scapolite crystals, I believe. Pretty cool. I dug around in a couple spots and I ended up here. I dug pretty deep because most of this is just like stuff that was already dug up. So I got below the a layer of leaves, which I assumed was probably from last year or so. And I kept digging until I hit roots. And I mean, I found bits and pieces, but nothing spectacular. Found a couple terminated pieces. This piece isn't bad. The termination on it is actually pretty sharp, all things considered, for an apatite crystal. So I'll take that. But I have a feeling Schicklers is, as far as it goes for apatites, I would say, it's a lot more picked over. You're going to have to put a lot of effort. I bet I have to even dig deeper to get to the even better stuff. I have a feeling I'm not digging deep enough because I'm getting some pretty crummy, broken bits. But, I mean, not every trip can be a success. But at least I'm not leaving empty-handed. Before we start, I thought I'd quickly mention, when I was at Schicklers, I noticed that there was a lot of garbage there. Please, guys, do clean up after yourselves. And also just be respectful of, like, the rules and stuff like that. Like, recently online, I've seen some people not too happy about people breaking the rules and just being disrespectful of sites, and they're totally in the right for being annoyed and angry. So I just want to pass the message on to you guys. Any of you guys from Ontario who do rockhounding, please remember, clean up after yourselves. Be respectful of the site you're at. Follow the rules if you're on a public site. Don't use power tools, etc. You know, just be good stewards so that everybody can enjoy this hobby, and not so that you're not the bad apple that ruins the fun for everybody else. But without further ado, let's look at the finds I brought back home from Schicklers. Start with this lump of calcite. It's a eroded calcite with some nice some nice purple fluorite in there. You can see at this side it's nice and dark purple. It's like a grape jelly almost color. And I've got a lump of scapolite that has some pyroxene and fluorite and stuff mixed in there. And we've got some interesting clusters of, like, this is like pyroxene crystals mixed in with some dark purple fluorite. And then you got the apatite. Got a nice long one here with a kind of lumpy termination at the end, but it is terminated. So that's a nice little cluster of multiple minerals. A good example. This one has scapolites in the mix. You can see them here. It's got the purple fluorite as well, and then it's got a smattering of red apatites. Nice little cluster again. We've got the larger scapolite. It's covered in kind of like a greeny, dark green material. I believe that's just a thin layer of pyroxene. And then you've got your purples from your fluorites. You can see here where it's broken off, and there's some damage here too. It's not a super gemmy crystal, but you can see this is the rough shape of the scapolite that you should expect. Got another pyroxene. People debate whether this is scapolite or not scapolite, sorry, diopside or augite, and it's kind of up in the air. This is the terminated end. It's got some smaller stuff there, and then it's got some calcites and small apatites and probably some dark purple fluorite. But it's damaged on the back. It most likely came off of a cluster like this. You can see it's kind of a dark green, blackish mineral, the pyroxenes there. Then you got the apatites. A lot of them have these really like flat, lumpy kind of melted terminations. This is a termination, even though it looks like just like nothing. Because like this is fractured. You can see it's been fractured and broken, whereas this is a clean termination. And the appetites here kind of are a mix of red and greens. You can see that here. And then sometimes once in a while you get these strange appetites kind of that have been what I can only describe as bleached, which is kind of not the case, but it's a good description of it. Basically, from what I understand, what I've been told from old-timer collectors is that the white appetite is caused by excess iron sulfides in the surrounding environment, and as the iron sulfides, aka the pyrites and stuff, degrade, they leach out stuff out of the appetites and kind of bleach the appetites. So I've got this terminated appetite point, but it's been partially bleached on one side, which is kind of interesting. And you can see there's a fracture starting to form, but it's not fully fallen apart. But that's kind of interesting. I thought I'd also show you guys some of my past finds, just so that you can see, because the first time I went there, I had some pretty good luck. Actually, in the description below, I'll put a link to that video. It's one of the first videos I did. The second or first video, I can't remember. It's that between that or the Desmount mine. But I'll show you some of the bigger appetites I found, because you can still find appetites there. This time around, I didn't have the greatest luck with big appetites, but I saw a friend recently. He went there after me, and he had some good luck pulling out some larger appetite pieces. Here are two examples. Here are the bigger pieces that I found my first time around. Nice cross section of a nice hexagonal, well, sharp appetite, giant red appetite. And then this one is more green and red. You can see on this side it's pretty green. And this is a busted termination. You can kind of see here it got terminated, but then here it got damaged. But this is a good example of kind of like the green mixed with the red. So you get the red appetite, but then you get the green in there. Some people like to call these like the Christmas appetites, where it's red and green, because here is the largest terminated piece I found on my first trip. You can see it has a kind of a semi-sharp melted termination. It's got some greens in the termination, which is nice. And then it's got some sidecar crystals. But this is, if you find some terminated pieces, this is probably what you're going to expect, is stuff like this, where it's double terminated, seem to be on the rarer end at Schicklers. Though I'm sure I've seen people find them, and I'm sure you can still find them. But when I went the first time, I had more luck finding a bunch of smaller terminated pieces. I thought I'd also show you guys one of the pyroxenes I found. This was the biggest piece. It's cleaved at the top. This isn't actually a termination. This is just the way the crystal cleaves. Sorry. This is a way the crystal cleaves. It's not a termination. And you can see it's been kind of laced with purple fluorite, which is kind of nice. It's a nice little combo. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crystal faces, and then the back. Actually, the back is also a crystal face. It's just a bit rough. I think here it was attached to some other crystals, so probably part of a larger lump of crystals. But you can see this is an example of a larger pyroxene from the Schickler Occurrence. We have gotten to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your patronage. If you haven't already, please do like the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do rockhounding related videos, and I do some other stuff too, other hobby interests on the side, like arrowhead hunting once in a while. Please also in the comments below, please mention what was your favorite find from this video, and please just have a good day, guys. Have a great time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.